Here's a story from WTOP. Security forces keep up fight with cartel gunmen a day after the Mexican military killed a drug lord from, this is reporting from the AP, in fact. They say tourist shops in Tapalpa were open Monday and workers were on the job, but gunshots also rang out. And in the street was a dead man lying beside a bullet-pocked vehicle. Meanwhile, heavily armed Mexican security forces kept up the battle with cartel gunmen following the killing that sparked a surge in violence and put the country on edge. I mean, these videos that are popping up are just absolutely nuts. We've got this one allegedly from Tijuana. I don't know exactly. Look, take it all with a grain of salt. Excuse me. This does appear to be the Tijuana border. You can see the border fence. And we don't know if this is from today, but I don't see why it would not be.
Now in Tijuana, Mexico, the cartel are blocking roads by setting cars on fire. This is a few miles from San Diego along the border.
And this area in Baja California is controlled by the, how do you pronounce it? Jalisco?
Jalisco, I believe.
Jalisco? I don't know how to pronounce that stuff.
The cookie manufacturer? Have I got that right?
Nabisco.
My bad. Continue.
Well, those
very close.
They're smuggling cookies into this country. You know, I mean, the videos that are coming out are absolutely insane. And this is the effective end of tourism in Mexico.
No Costco is safe in Mexico now.
Listen, this is the cartel is basically saying, you hit us, we hit you back. But this is not just, this is strategic. They're firing guns in airports. They're burning vehicles in the middle of the street in key tourist destinations. They want the Mexican government to look at this and think we are about to go broke because tourism to Puerto Vallarta, to Tijuana, these are very, very important for the Mexican economy. Americans love coming down there and partying. It's slightly cheap. It's less expensive for the Americans to do so. Now you can't go. Americans are being warned to shelter in place. It is Rumble wallets. Guys, you're tired of people banning you, blocking you, shutting you down? They want you to own nothing and be happy. Well, Rumble Wallet is a non-custodial means of holding value, storing value, and transferring it to other people, trading. So if you're watching on Rumble and you want to tip, you can use the Rumble Wallet. Rumble's the only company that has stood the test of time, deserving our support in fighting for free speech and freedom to transact and exist as we want. Banks can cancel your account. They can freeze your card. That's why Rumble has launched the Rumble Wallet. It's a wallet that no one can cancel. Supporters can use to instantly tip creators like us here at Timcast without any middleman taking cuts. You control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It's yours, only yours to protect your future and your family. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tether Gold in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with ownership of physical gold bars. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with a click of a button. And there will be no fees when you tip my channel or others when we receive that tip instantly, unlike other platforms where you got to wait for payouts or there's a lot taken out. So support the show and check out the Rumble Wallet. Make sure you guys download it by going to wallet.rumble.com. Download it today, open an account, step away from the big banks, use wallet.rumble.com, or you can search for them in the App Store. Shout out, Rumble Wallet. A video that Fox News had a report. Some guy said that a car bomb went off, and everyone said, quick, get inside. You can't even go outside now. So for the people who are trapped there, we hope that they can get out safely. But now, it's just off. The spigot is turned off. No tourism right now. I imagine Trump's response to this is going to be a brutal, brutal crackdown. The reporting is that apparently Trump told Mexico, if you do not take out these guys, we are going to do it. The U.S. will launch strikes on Mexico. And so Sheinbaum, the president, said, okay, we'll do it. Now, reportedly, the U.S. provided the intelligence on the location of El Mencho. They went in, and there's conflicting reports. I read one report, according to cartel members, apparently, the U.S. went in with the intention to kill him, not to capture him. And I think there was something like 70 dead in the operation. The U.S. found out that he was with a romantic partner, a woman, I'm assuming. I don't know why. I'm assuming they call it romantic partner because they're leftists and media.
I think that means mistress is what that means.
It could be. And apparently they went in guns blazing, just killed everybody. But I've also seen reporting, I believe the official narrative is they went in and arrested him. And when the cartel moved in to try and get him out, a gunfight ensued, and he died in the conflict. Now, I don't know for sure, but what I can say is, ain't no way Trump is watching this go down and thinking, I'm going to let the cartels do this.
No, this is this is what the left is trying to get the American right to do, is to start blowing up streets and setting roadblocks and fury. They provoked the cartel into flipping out. The cartel took the bait, and now they're going to get wiped off the face of the map by the military.
This is victim blaming. Like you're saying that the cartel.
What else could they do? Their leader gets killed. What are they going to do? Sit back and take it? But
the cartel are the ones that are actually causing the havoc. The cartel are the ones that are blowing things up. The cartel are the ones that are killing people. 74 people in total have been killed in the operation and its aftermath. 25 security forces of the National Guard have been killed. This is not like, you don't appease the bad guys. Like you don't just sit there and say, oh, we can't put these guys in jail or go after these guys because they'll wreak havoc. Then that's how you end up with this situation. You end up with the government not controlling parts of the country because you're appeasing them. You're saying we can't go after them because they'll attack back or they'll cause havoc.
You can appease them with that. What they try and do is they buy off their opponent. If that doesn't work, they'll try and assassinate the guy, which they just did with this guy. Then you'll do full-scale invasion.
I have mixed feelings on this. I used to play Dungeons and Dragons with El Mencho, who is a great DM. And I was in a drug cartel in Mexico for about 10 years, and they've got a good pension plan.
Nice.
But it feels like they've kind of gone off a different direction than when I was there. I don't know.
Non-discriminatory policies.
Yeah, that's another
thing. They don't harass you or kick you out for being gay or Latino.
But it was all they smoked all that pot, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was trafficking meth and fentanyl. Oh, really? And this is likely why Donald Trump said, take them down.
Oh, yeah.
Just the other day, Trump had that Angel, or it was today, I think, the Angel Moms event.
Yeah, today.
He said February 22nd is going to be, was it Angel Family Day?
Yep.
And for those unfamiliar, this is a term that means, if you're an angel parent, it means your child was killed by an illegal immigrant. So Trump declared yesterday as the day to commemorate all those who were killed by illegal immigrants. And look, this is the guy, Jalisco was responsible for the trafficking of fentanyl into the United States. I think Trump called up Mexico and said, he's done. And Mexico said, okay. Because what's funny? The cartels right now shutting down tourism, they're exacting leverage against the state. They're saying, you want to go to Trump because he's threatening pain? We're going to bring you pain. We're going to shut down your tourism. The problem is Trump can threaten so much more.
Yeah.
The cartels do not have the leverage here.
Oh.
They can kill, they can bomb, they can fight, and they can scream. And Trump can go to the Mexican government and say, we can end Mexico. Okay? The degree to which Trump can threaten Mexico is insane. The degree to which one cartel can is scary, but nowhere near as scary as Donald Trump threatening to launch U.S. invasions of Mexico.
The cartel can wreak havoc. They can cause unrest and stuff. But the U.S. has spent 20 years building an apparatus, the past 25 years, building an apparatus to find people anywhere in the world. We found Osama bin Laden hiding out in Pakistan, where the country was doing everything they could to help. There's no one in Mexico that can hide from the United States military apparatus. So, and we don't have to drop a ton of bombs. We can literally send hellfires with swords on them and take out individuals without blowing up everything. Like, the United States as a military entity is beyond what anything the cartels are prepared to handle.
I wonder, of these cartel members, if they're getting bribed by the CIA right now to turn on each other, and then when they turn on each other, the CIA is like, you're all dead anyway, and they kill them all anyway.
Why would the CIA bribe them?
Why what?
Why would the CIA bribe them?
Get them to turn on each other, then it's one less enemy and one more ally.
They're going to turn on each other.
When I was in the cartel, I took a lot of kickbacks from the CIA. It was actually a big part of my job.
Yeah.
It'd be in addition to military operations, you're trying to bribe leadership to turn on each other and stuff. And it's with a limitless amount of money with the cyber tech they got.
They're fighting each other now because the cartels are going to start fighting each other for dominance over territory and stuff now. They don't need the CIA to pay them to fight each other. They want to fight each other to take over territory as it is.
And then,
yeah, but I think this is it. I think what you are seeing with Donald Trump's foreign policy is pretty dang nuts. In his first term, he crushes ISIS. In his first term, the war, the conflict in Ukraine starts dying down. You get in the second term, so I'm going to throw it to Biden for helping kick off the Russia war with Ukraine. I blame Russia largely, but Biden's failed foreign policy with Afghanistan and Ukraine largely with Ukraine helped contribute to it. And then you have Donald Trump coming in. What does he do? He's taken out the drug boats in the Caribbean and the Pacific. He again already ISIS crushed. You got Abraham Accords. Trump is working on these peace deals. And so it looks like his interests are substantially more in line with domestic protection.
Yeah.
That being said, we have deep concerns about an escalating war with Iran. So I'm not going to say it's out of the question. But I think the cartels are cooked. I think Obama, let me just, one more thing. Obama wanted ISIS to exist. The U.S. government was funding groups that eventually became ISIS, and they were utilizing weapons the U.S. had given to these people. And Barack Obama gave thousands of guns to the cartels. Fact. It was called Fast and Furious. Now, the excuse they give was they were going to give the guns to the cartels, but then track them and see how the guns were being used and who got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always give your enemies a bunch of automatic weapons. Ridiculous. And they actually found in the raid rocket launchers. So some are questioning just what, these are military grade.
Yeah.
To what degree the U.S. was actually providing support before Trump got in.
Tim, do you think that was a willful action? Like, I would read Fast and Furious as just incompetency on behalf of the DOJ, but like, are you inferring that they wanted to arm them rather than entrap them?
You know, I would typically say something like Hanlon's razor. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
In this capacity, if I were to assume that Barack Obama was just incompetent in handing over thousands of weapons to cartel members, I would have to assume that he was a functional retard.
Maybe they were like,
It's one thing to say incompetence. That's like the dude spilled the coffee, and I'm not going to assume he did it on purpose. What was the plan? Okay, we're going to give them a bunch of guns. They're going to go use them, killing a bunch of people, but then we'll know they did.
no.
What?
You give them the guns, then they take control from their government, then you have no choice but to go in and quell the resistance and take the country for yourself. It's the same thing they did with ISIS. They armed them. Now they have an enemy to go invade and take. And now we have Afghanistan.
Well,
and Iraq.
let me say,
we armed our own enemies.
Technically correct in some circumstances. The point of ISIS was to get Assad out of power. The reason why the U.S. let, under Barack Obama, ISIS expand rapidly was because it was like we couldn't. We did invade Syria, which is funny because who remembers when that happened? Does anybody remember a big declaration of an invasion of Syria?
Well, they tried in 2013, and I was.
No, they went and did it.
Spoke high. No, not then. They didn't, because Obama wouldn't do it.
Obama did do it.
Not officially. And
Obama did do it. And it was after Trump got out of his first term, Biden sent the troops back in.
Declaration of war is what
I know, exactly. He went and did it illegally. So anyway, the point is this. Obama was like, let's let ISIS expand because they are attacking Assad's regime and they're going to knock Assad out of power. The propaganda machine did everything to say Assad was an evil guy because he was aligned with Russia and we did not like him. We wanted to build an oil pipeline into Europe to offset Russia's gas monopoly. A lot of other factors. That's a big one. Assad said no. Then we said, we're going to knock out your government. So Obama lets ISIS happen. We provide materials and weapons to the rebels, the Free Syrian Army associates, which eventually get taken over by ISIS extremists and becomes a singular faction. And the U.S. is happy to let it happen. They say, we'll sit back and watch them tear each other apart. Trump gets in and he flattens ISIS. I don't think that Barack Obama gave those guns as an excuse to invade Mexico. I think he gave the guns to the cartels because the cartels are part of what they need to happen for drug trafficking and human smuggling into the United States. I think that the interests of the uniparty, like the Democratic Party, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and the neocons, has never been, at least in the last 40 years, for the American people. And you can criticize Donald Trump for a lot of things. In fact, there's so many things it's hard to name, but at least you can look at his plans and what's going on and say, well, that's for the American people.
Can you elaborate on the Mexico bit? Because I follow you in terms of arming ISIS. We have a long history of arming people that turn out to be our enemies. So that sounds plausible to me. But why would they want to build up cartels in Mexico? Like what would the Democratic Party get from having increased drugs?
Well, it's not the Democratic Party. It's the Uniparty. It's the old Republicans. We're all the same. Okay. Neither of them were going to go in and do it. Bush didn't do anything about it. Are you familiar with the crack epidemic in the 90s?
Yeah.
And it was how the CIA was basically facilitating all of this. And the reporter who uncovered it committed suicide with 2 gunshots to his head. You have to wonder about what was that all about. Well, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, but the reporting is basically the CIA was funneling crack cocaine to black neighborhoods. Your guess is as good as mine, I guess. Suppress and depress minority populations. Maybe. I'd have to imagine that with the flow of fentanyl and other drugs and human trafficking, the Democrats have been encouraging, especially in the Biden administration, they would want these groups to be able to operate to do what they want to do. Not only that, but it allows the U.S. to do, I would just call it extra legal things undercover. You can't go to the Mexican government and say, we need to transport 2 million people into our country through your border, because that's public record. But you can certainly go to the cartels and say, our NGOs will take care of you. You guys provide the security. Here's a bunch of guns. Here's what we want to happen.
So you think it was an immigration attempt?
No, I'm saying there's a multitude of factors involved in why the U.S. has been supporting illegal activity in Mexico. If you go back to the 90s, you know that the United States intelligence, CIA largely, was helping funnel crack cocaine from Mexico into the United States. And I guess one could only surmise as to the purpose, but they were flooding black neighborhoods, black communities with crack cocaine. I believe the working theory is that they were trying to suppress and depress black population. Perhaps, I mean, people argue that. As for why he would be giving them guns, it's because they do extra legal things that the U.S. needs or wants them to do. So it's powerful to have these groups who are willing to do anything for money at your behest. I think that it's largely a narco state. You take a look at Afghanistan, for instance, the United States, we got soldiers in Afghanistan guarding poppy fields because it's a large portion of their economy, pumping out heroin. I think that the government of the United States pre-Donald Trump, post World War II, or probably even before that, has not been operating for the betterment of mankind, but for control. And you need, as I think Ian brings up quite a bit, the Henry Kissinger's what is it called?
Limited war principle.
Limited war principle. You want there to be a degree of chaos. That's why I said I half agree with you when you said fund the enemy so that you can take a stand against them. It's in that realm. I will also say, if I knew exactly what their intentions were, I'd have no problem coming out and say it. But the only thing I can say is I don't believe Obama is so stupid that he gave a bunch of automatic weapons to cartel members on accident.
I think with the Mexico thing, I'm still on Hanlon's razor, but I share your skepticism of the kind of neocon project that's been going on in the country for a very long time.
So entertain, would you then, sir?
Uh-huh.
Why give 2,000 or more automatic weapons to cartel members?
It's been a while since I've looked at that, right? But there was Eric Holder with the DOJ.
Yeah.
As I recall, the plan was, which they botched, and nobody was prosecuted either. So there are definite problems with it. But as I recall, the plan was to like get the guns out and then intercept them before they were actually used. It wasn't to just arm them and.
How?
I don't know. I'm on the side of incompetence.
I'm sorry. You're saying 2 + 2 = 5. Why do you need to send guns to intercept them when you can just go as the United States government and arrest the people?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the
There's no logic whatsoever in the plan to give automatic weapons to cartel members. You don't need to. They're already buying guns from somewhere. They already have weapons, military-grade rocket launchers. Trump isn't doing any of this stuff. You need only go to the Mexican government and say, shut down the cartels now. We know they're selling drugs. We know they're stealing avocado farms now. There is literally no logical plan. None whatsoever. So while I typically can look at Hanlon's razor for a lot of things, not this. I'm sorry. Like if Ian gave a drug dealer 10 grand,
Ian did give a drug dealer 10 grand.
I know. I was making a point.
Yeah.
No. Listen. If Ian walked up to a drug dealer and handed him 10 grand, do you think when they come and arrest Ian and he goes, no, you don't understand. I gave him the money so that later on I could catch him with the money. They'd say, what?
I mean, they use entrapment regularly, right? Like that is a thing that law
Why do you
enforcement
need to entrap the cartels when you know what they're doing and you know who they
They
are?
might have been trying to track the people. I don't know the ins and outs of it.
See who they gave the weapons to? Because
I'm sorry. I just find it. I find it incredibly hard to believe that Biden's government, knowing the cartels are murdering people, killing politicians, needed some kind of pretext to go in and do anything about it. So instead, they hand a bunch of guns to people they know who are violent murderer criminals and then go, oopsie. Just like when Obama...
You have to remember, I've made a career out of claiming the government's incompetent. So that is my general default
Was the government
position.
incompetent when they killed Abdulrahman al-Awlaki?
Remind me of who that is?
16-year-old American citizen visiting Yemen, was at a civilian restaurant, and Obama ordered a drone strike, blowing the restaurant up.
No, I'd say that's illegal and unconstitutional.
He claimed it was an accident. He said, whoops, we were targeting a terror leader. We didn't realize that it was the wrong target. I don't believe for a second that Obama, when he's, listen, they come to him and they say, okay, President, we want to blow up, we have a target to blow up. And Obama goes, okay, where is it at? And he goes, Yemen. And Obama goes, okay, and are we at war with Yemen? No, sir. Okay, what's the target? It's a restaurant. Okay, is it a military restaurant? No, sir. It's a civilian restaurant. So a civilian restaurant in a country we're not at war with, and you want to blow it up. Yes, sir. Why? There's a terrorist in it. Okay, go ahead and do it. At bare minimum, Obama was like, massacre a bunch of civilians in a country we're not at war with.
But you are arguing that the Obama administration was very competent then.
Absolutely, the Obama administration was competent. There are so many things one could argue about incompetence with Obama, but Obama is not a moron. Obama was a very, very sharp, very charismatic, cunning individual. Look at the Russiagate hoax. I mean, Obama's meeting with Comey, Sally Yates, who was Biden there, and they're effectively planning to go after Donald Trump with this whole nonsense. These people were cold, calculating, and you know what? The only thing I can give for them in incompetence is that they couldn't get Hillary Clinton across the finish line. But again, so I look at what the Obama administration does, and I think it's silly to say that giving thousands of guns to cartel members was just an oopsie daisy, because Trump doesn't need any of that pretext. He goes to Sheinbaum and says, do it or we will, and she does it.
Can you flesh out for me what you see Trump's foreign policy as? And what I mean by that is, when he was running in 2016, I was hanging out with lots of libertarians. The pro-Trump argument amongst the libertarian crowd was, Hillary's a known war hawk, Trump is an isolationist, vote for Trump, you're going to get peace. But I wouldn't describe this term as isolationist, but at the same time, we're not going into full-blown war. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. How do you see it?
America first. Easy way to explain it: the priorities of the Donald Trump administration as it comes to foreign issues and military issues is about what is going to benefit the United States the most. That being said, he's far from perfect. I don't want to see a war with Iran. I have a general idea of why he's doing it. No, it's not because Israel controls the United States with puppet strings, but some people are just wackaloons. And I would argue that Trump is largely imperfect. But look at the what we describe it, the fervor over Trump striking these drug boats. I mean, we see videos of boats carrying drugs blown up. And then there's an argument that some of them are not. They're just fishing boats and they're civilians. And I say, okay, well, that's bad, right? Well, let's take a look into that. Let's get a full report. Let's get an investigation and make a determination if there was military action that was taken against civilians, for which we will make an attempt to determine what the penalties of that will be. Barack Obama murdered people. He murdered children. He murdered innocent civilians. He killed American citizens. No one cares. And I know the left always says, whataboutism? And I say, no. It's about actions speaking louder than words. When Donald Trump targets boats shuttling drugs to the U.S. or largely to Europe in the Caribbean, they lose their minds over it. But they don't say a damn thing when Barack Obama was murdering Americans. So I don't believe for 2 seconds they actually care. Anyway, real quick, your point about Trump's foreign policy is, well, he tried not to be involved in the Ukraine-Russia stuff, but oh boy, he can't figure that one out. The Iran stuff is troubling, but Iran is basically shutting down the Red Sea. They're funding these terror groups, Houthi rebels in Yemen. The Houthis are then firing on ships in the Red Sea. And the Red Sea, of course, is a Suez Canal. There are 3 major trade vectors for global trade. You've got Panama, which Trump is trying to regain control of. The Suez, which we do control, and the conflict with Iran is largely around whether or not we can maintain security in that region. And then, of course, Greenland and Canada, which is the Northwest Passage. So Trump is, I would argue, retracted on liberal economic order worldview, but not abandoning of it, and largely focused on securing American national benefits. So the cartels are shuttling fentanyl and drugs into the United States. Trump says shut it down. These boats are transporting drugs, funding these operations. Shut it down. Venezuela stole billions of dollars of U.S. oil assets in 2009. Trump says, no, we're shutting that down. So I would argue maybe it's 65%. It's going to be a direct repercussion, or the direct repercussion is going to be the benefit to the American people, like tariffs. I would argue that the perspective on Ukraine and Iran largely is, will it ultimately benefit America? But that's where you're starting to stretch it into global security for the betterment of America. I can understand why my libertarian friends are largely challenging of that notion. But I would also say the libertarians that are critical of it, I respect. The libertarians that are isolationist have no idea what's going on in the world.
I'm an intervention skeptic. So that is to say, like, the default is no. You might be able to talk me into it. Where I struggle with that analysis of Trump is it does sound like it requires me to sign off an intentionality. of looking at what were the intentions of the Obama administration, what are the intentions of the Trump administration. I don't really like either. And so it's harder for me to put that into a rubric that I can follow.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.